All right, hello everyone. Welcome to another super fun episode of the Kuile Courageous Conversations. I am Sheldon from Kapiolani Community College.
And hello, everyone, all our listeners out there. And I am Alfie, the other half of the Kuile outreach team. Sheldon, how has your week been?
It's been an interesting week. Just to share with everyone, it is now December 2023.
Holy smokes.
December.
Where has time gone?
Yes. And I was having an email conversation with someone the other day. And I know it sounds totally cliche, but time just seems to fly faster and faster and faster. I think the other day someone told me, "Oh, did you know like next week is the Christmas?" I'm like, "What?" I was like, "Oh my God." And then I think, didn't we just make an appointment for someone in January 2024?
We did. Yeah. It's been wacky, busy,
Yeah.
all of the above, this whole
All of the
semester.
above.
And seriously, it's really, it flew by, and I
Mhm.
think the biggest things that, I was doing this week was, application workshops
Yep.
at high schools and whatnot.
Yep.
So we have all these students applying, coming to KCC because they're hearing how awesome and amazing KCC is. And Sheldon, you were actually off island, right? Recently.
Yeah, I had just the wonderful opportunity to be with the seniors and their families at Lahaina Luna High School on
Wow,
Maui.
awesome.
That was,
Ooh, yeah,
such a
yeah.
special opportunity. And I was so thankful that I got to meet families there. And oh my gosh, they're just gracious. They
Mhm.
awesome questions. And Maui College, this is again no knock on our culinary arts department. They make amazing food, but Maui College made the food. It was like chicken curry, mac salad, cookies, some kind of vegetable stew, all made in their kitchen. And they served all like 120 of us.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. That
That's
was,
awesome.
yeah, it was such a great day. Such a great day.
Oh, oh man. All
But
right. Wow.
with us today, because I think today's topic is super cool because we're talking about
Yeah.
transition, we're talking about
Hmm.
change, and
Hmm.
all of our interviews is about how our students overcome all types of challenges. But with us is actually Shawn from
Yes,
our
Sean.
Honda International Center. Shawn, can you just share a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, thanks so much, guys, for having me on, and certainly to get to the star of this podcast, Kiri. Really excited to be able to support her. But I work here at the Honda International Center. We are a support unit, a service provider on the campus, focused on helping our international students understand, the rules and regulations that kind of govern what it means to be a student here on campus or in the United States legally. And so we try to help our students understand what they can and cannot do in terms of, class registration and the minimum requirements, as well as employment on or off campus. And actually, Kiri is very versed in this area too, because she actually fields a lot of the inquiries via email for us, because she's one of our star student assistants here at the Honda Center too. So we're kind of torn because on one hand we're cheering her on as she goes into new seasons of life, but on the other hand, it also means she's moving on, from our office, and so we're going to miss her, but at the same time we're excited to see the journey that she's about to embark on as she graduates, which is happening in a couple of days.
Wow. Ooh, wow. Yeah. Where has time gone? Like we're over here, we're here over here talking about the semester flying by, and Sean's over here talking about like, oh my gosh, we're gonna be missing our star students in a couple of days. You know?
Days. Days.
Holy
Yes.
smokes. Wow.
Yes.
But let's not stall this. Let's
Yeah.
introduce the star of the show. I mean, all of our students are they just bring amazing energy and perspective and everything to this campus. But today, Alfie, who do we have?
We have Kiri Yoshida, and again, graduating in a couple of days. Round of applause for Kiri.
Yay!
We don't have sound effects, sorry.
Yeah,
That's sorry, low budget
that
type of thing.
I have a
We
tambourine
haven't, yeah.
somewhere.
I can bang sticks together. But anyways.
Kiri, if you don't mind introducing yourself, if you could
Sure.
share maybe a little bit about your high school, and perhaps when you started at Kapi'olani Community College.
Okay. Hi, my name is Kiri. I am international from Japan. I'm international student from Japan, and as as you guys mentioned, this is my last semester at KCC. And so I went to high school in Japan, also, and also high school in Australia. I studied abroad in Australia for about like 1 year. And I came to Hawaii about like 2 years and a half ago. And yeah,
Walk with me through the Australia bit. So that caught me off guard. So, born and raised in Japan, right?
yes.
What made you decide Australia?
So I played golf for about like I still play golf for fun, but I used to compete
Wow.
when I was in middle school. But I quit playing competitively and because I didn't like to having like too much pressure.
Mm.
So I wanted to try like something new and I wanted to learn English and so I went to private school and I could have just gone to high school without like taking any like exam, like entrance exam. Because in Japan we have to take like entrance exam when we go to high school. So I could just go straight to the high school without taking exam, but I took the test exam and I went to public school and I had an opportunity to go to Australia. So I just wanted to try something new.
How many years were you playing golf? So you said middle school. And I'm terrible with math. And so how many years were you playing competitive golf?
So I started playing golf when I was like 7 years old. So I've been playing for about like 13, 14 years.
Wow.
I'm kind of curious about how how your how your parents felt to send you to Australia.
So they were, I'm sure they were very like worried about me because after I came back from Australia, my mom told me like she was crying the first like couple weeks when I left. So yeah.
So are you, in Australia, did you know English or you're learning English in Australia?
I didn't know any English at all at
Oh my
first. Yeah, I learned there.
Were you with other students from Japan?
Yeah, we all went together, but we were like in different school. Each of us were different in school. So I was like only a few like international student in my high school. So yeah, it was not easy.
Walk with us through what that was like. So you're coming off the plane, mom's in tears. Now you're in this new environment, one of maybe a few international students not knowing the language. And I'm guessing their English language, there's a little bit of an accent as well. Walk us through that. What was that like?
So at first it was like really hard. I was crying because I miss my family, I miss my friends, and I came all the way from Japan to a country where like I don't know anyone and I don't know like any like their culture and I didn't have like anyone that I know there and also I didn't have like any support, nearby support. So it was really hard at first, but like after like couple months I kind of got used to it because I was still like 15, 16. So
Oh my gosh.
I learned English like really quick. And yeah, I think I got used to it like really quick.
So like when you're, man, I'm just so like impressed right now. You're 15 and 16, trying to cope. Like, what were some things that you were doing in Australia, or like activities, or maybe like people that you're hanging out with to help you to kind of cope with living in Australia?
You mean like what
Yeah,
I did in
yeah,
Australia?
yeah, like were you doing like how did you adapt? Like what were some things you were doing to help to adapt?
So because because there were no like almost zero Japanese at my
Oh
school.
man.
So like friends I made they're all from local people, like Australian people. So so I could only make friends that who are from Australia. So we hang out together, and also I lived close by the beach, so we went to the beach together, and also did like some club activities. So yeah, I made a lot of friends there.
Did you challenge them to golf games?
Mhm. No.
Okay.
You
That
know,
would
I'll
have.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that would have been funny, and she could say, "Oh, how about we try this thing? I don't know, like golf. We could try that. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but she's just cranking out par, eagle.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, I was going to say that one of the things for us at the International Student Office that we see for transitional success for students are students that assimilate well. And that includes the support structure, not only on campus, but off campus.
Mm-hmm.
What Kiri did there, whether, it seemed to be intentional, but it's also, it's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's healthy mentally and certainly physically. You were going to the beach, right? But the connection relationally is so foundational to the success of an international student as they're living abroad, because they don't have the support system in terms of their own family members being close by. They are also not in an environment that's familiar to them, let alone another language. Developing those kind of deeper, meaningful relationships, both on campus and off campus, is critical to the success of their students. And that's what's exciting to me, is that I feel like, I know the three of us have had just some fantastic conversations. There's so many amazing faculty and staff on the campus that support our international students.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what Kiri is mentioning here, just with the relationships alone, it kind of reminds me of how important it is for us to kind of, as we say in Hawaii, we kind of hanai, right?
Mm-hmm.
We like bring everybody into the family, and this campus is a family community too. So just reminded of that in your story there, Kiri.
Absolutely. So Kiri, now, so you left Japan, born and raised in Japan, decided, to go to Australia, mom in tears, you adapting to Australia, going through some difficulties, then you go to the beach in Connection. I hope you see where this is going. How did you stumble upon KCC? How did you make KCC your next destination for you? Because now you're moving even further away from mom. So how did you come about to come to KCC or decide to attend KCC?
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a senior in high school, we all have to decide like what we're gonna do after high school, right? And I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I had no idea what I'm interested in at all. But so my family would come to Hawaii often, pretty often. Like we love Hawaii, and also um I was gonna go like university in Japan, but um I couldn't find any school that stood out to me. It's not like they're bad, or there are a lot of like great school in Japan, but none of them really stood out to me. So, and also that was after I came back from Australia, and like studying abroad was like something that I'm interested in. So I just Googled like Hawaii college, and the KCC popped up. So I applied, and now here I am.
Yay. This is not to embarrass you at all, but your grades are amazing.
I know. Oh my goodness.
And wow, when I looked at just your past performance at Kapiolani, it's amazing. And for someone who is kind of like what Shawn shared, entering a new environment, but also to perform well, it's just simply remarkable. What So we have a lot of other students who are coming from different countries. What can you share with them as far as doing well, almost like holistically in a new environment? I mean, you've talked about it, but your grades demonstrate it.
Mm.
And just hearing all the positive feedback from even your colleagues, you've demonstrated it. What can you share with other students who are nervous about entering a new environment, new language, everything? What kind of advice can you give?
So I'm working hard on like studying and other stuff because not for myself, but also for my parents
Mm-hmm.
because they support a lot and they just let me do like everything I want. So I just want them to be proud of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to say like I cannot do this, I cannot do that because of like a language barrier. I just wanted to prove them that I can do like better even if like in different country.
But in those situations, especially in Australia, when you're faced in situations where you're not familiar with the language,
Mhm.
but you have to do certain things to survive.
Mhm.
How did you plow through that?
So I s- I try like not to speak Japanese. I try to like
Mm.
make my brain just only like English
Hmm.
and because you won't be able to learn the new language unless like you actually like, speak it.
Mm.
So I just focus on like speak, and, like talk to my
Mm.
friends, like talk to like any like strangers or yeah.
So part of my job, I have the wonderful opportunity to work at this place called the McKinley Community School for Adults. There, they have a fairly high number of students who move to Hawaii from, I've seen, like China, Korea, Japan. So Hawaii's their new home. They've been here for years, and one of their, dare I say, dream is to continue like a United States education. Some of them got their college credentials in their host country, but they really want to learn English, which is, again, really great. But they're always nervous about their English. So they'll talk to me one on one, and I understand them. I, I mean, it's clear they're working on their English, no doubt about that. But I guess I'm thinking, oh, you folks will do just fine. I understand you completely, but they are so nervous. And so when you say just got to get out there and speak and talk to other people, how did you, like, again, these people are afraid to the point where they're not going to apply just yet. And so there's some students where it takes them like a year to apply to Kapiolani because they're so nervous. What would you say to them as far as them being very uncomfortable with speaking English in front of other people?
So I was also like hesitating to speak English in front of like people, but because no one cares like if you make like mistakes or
Mm,
anything. So, because let's say like if I'm in Japan and like a tourist, they try to speak Japanese. I don't say like your Japanese is bad because I feel like I feel happy because they're like trying to speak
mm,
Japanese. I can see their effort. So, I think you just gotta, they you just gotta speak up. You just gotta
mhm.
talk. Like, don't worry about like making mistakes because no one cares about like making if you're making mistakes or anything. So yeah.
I mean, just kind of like you're saying, I mean, people just appreciate the effort,
Mm.
you know. But yeah, I mean, I got to say, this is a long time ago when my grandmother told me, "Oh, you're coming with me to Okinawa." I was like, "Okay, cool, let's go." So then I get there, and oh my gosh, because that was my first time in Asia, and I was like almost in an instant, I felt like I was stuck because I couldn't understand. I mean, even though I took so many years of Japanese, I just felt, oh my gosh, here we go. And correct me if this is along the similar lines, but you kind of, when you're immersed in it and you're forced to use it, you do it or you learn quicker. Is that safe to say? How about you guys? I know, like Shawn, I think Japan, right? And then Alfie, when you went to Korea.
Yes. Oh, I'm fortunate because there's a lot of people in Korea that speak English, so that's good. And everything, so it's either the signs are either in Korean or in English kind of thing. So it is possible to kind of navigate. But I think similarly, it's what Kiri's kind of talking about is like if you show that you're willing to kind of try it, like they get excited, like oh, and then they start talking story with you in the language, and I'm like, time out. I still got to take my placement test here. Come on, I'm like Korean 101 here. But no, yeah, it's I could imagine the like just being scared kind of or like nervous to try to go around and do that. But like you said, like when you're stuck there and you're immersed in it, I think I would probably pick it up a little bit quicker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was very fortunate. As a matter of fact, as a Kapiolani Community College student, I've gone and lived in Japan on several occasions, and through the course of my studies here and at Manoa, and every time you go, you learn something new. I remember reading and studying all of these things in class, and when I got to Japan, I didn't realize that like I could talk about heart transplants and read newspaper articles on all these different topics, but I didn't know how to say a rice scooper, until I lived in Japan. It's this terminology that just doesn't surface here unless you actively use that. But you know what? As working in international education reminds me of how important soft skills are to your future employers. And I think what Kiri has learned, or all of our international students learn, are these soft skills that make them all the more employable. And because you have this, I know for myself, and I feel like I can speak for some of our international students as well, but you have this heightened awareness, and sometimes it comes in the form of self-consciousness, but it's heightened nonetheless, right? I think in Kiri's case, an heightened awareness plus maybe occasional mistakes in her mind equals success. And that's a big conversion versus some students, let's say a heightened awareness and maybe concern about people's perception on their mistakes and errors equals a very different type of abroad experience. And so, having our students understand, just as what Kiri is explaining, I think is fantastic to hear you say that it's okay to make mistakes. And through those mistakes, of course, your language gets better, but so does your cultural understanding, your contextual understanding of the situation and how to communicate. And I know for myself, being in international education, as I travel to different conferences and there's a bunch, I can't speak most of the languages out there outside of English and Japanese and a few words from certain languages. But what I have learned are the skill sets that apply across all of those cultures. Be observant, be polite, be humble. All of the things that we value here, certainly in Hawaii, are applicable on an international stage. And I think what Kiri does and her sharing about, have confidence, try, all of those things are the exact success model and is a result of why she's a fantastic candidate for this podcast, but also a perfect A student.
Yeah. Seriously. I mean, if you think about Kiri, it's just her whole point to getting here is taking those chances. Going from Japan, going to Australia, now coming to Hawaii. Those are all taking the risks. And you're right. And this is where she is today. So, sorry, Kiri, real quick question. When you mentioned that, when you said you're going to leave Japan for Australia, you said your mom was crying. So what about when you told your mom you're going to come to Hawaii? How was her reaction? What was her reaction?
I don't think she was as worried as the time I left Australia because she knew that I can do by myself in like different countries. So
Oh, okay.
when I told my parents that I'm gonna go to Hawaii, I think they're like very supportive. I think she was not worried at all. I guess, yeah.
And there's a lot more Japanese folks in Hawaii, so that probably gave her peace of mind too. I mean, that probably helped.
Or more so, it was like, yeah, I get to visit you in Hawaii now.
That's
Yeah.
right. I have a place to stay.
I have a question for you, Kiri. I was curious. I've never been to Australia, and so being someone in international education, I have met many people from Australia. I'm always curious because one of the common grounds across all cultures is you have to eat. Food is a very basic need, as we all know, and food can make you homesick sometimes, but can also give you comfort. For you, when you lived in Australia, is it a rice-based culture a little more, or is it a mix of things, or what did you find yourself eating? I'm curious.
Rice-based culture.
I'm gonna write that down.
Rice-based culture. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So I stayed with the family, like host family. So they would cook. They cook like rice. They eat rice, of course, but mostly, they eat like potatoes, like mashed potatoes. I think that's their like main, like main, yeah.
So there was probably some adjustment there for you, knowing how important rice is in Japanese culture, right?
Yeah, like I realized like how healthy the Japanese food is. Because when I was like in Australia, I gained like 10 pounds, like more than 10 pounds within like 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So on that note, what foods did you fall in love with in Australia?
Yes.
Long pause.
Vegemite.
No, I hate Vegemite. I tried once.
Was that violet crumble? Is that what they call it? Is that Australia? Can't remember that candy bar. Oh no, that's not it.
Well, what food was it?
Say, I tried. Oh, I like the meat pie.
Meat pie.
Meat pie.
Oh, okay.
What is that?
It's a pie, and the inside is like has meat, like vegetables, and you put like gravy. You eat with like a gravy sauce. It's really good.
What's the American dish equivalent?
Chicken pot pie? No. Would that be equivalent?
Yeah, there is a dish.
I'm drawing a blank.
Me too. Yeah.
So now on the topic of food, so when you went from Australia to Hawaii, we are not, I mean, our food is nowhere near as awesome as Japan. But what was the, oh my God, you guys have it food? Like you're super excited to see a certain food when you made it to Hawaii. What was that?
And I believe Hawaii is a rice-based culture, correct?
We are a rice-based culture.
I would say acai bowl.
Oh,
acai bowl.
Interesting.
We have acai bowl in Japan, but it's not as good as the one in Hawaii. Or I would say like plate lunch, like any plate lunch.
So we got 2 on Japan. Meanwhile, they got like hundreds of other foods that are just way more better than anywhere else. Anyway, so back to your academic journey. So you are graduating fall 2023. And what are your plans? Like, what are you excited to do in this next chapter?
So I'm gonna be on the OPT. So I'm gonna be working in Hawaii for 1 year. And after that, I'm thinking of transferring to Manoa, starting in spring 2025.
For those who are listening who may not know what OPT is, maybe Shawn or Kiri, if you could share what that is.
Sure. It's so OPT stands for Optional Practical Training. And it is a benefit that's afforded to our international students after completion of a certificate of achievement or completion of an AS or AA degree. And so there's a special process that students would need to apply for this benefit post or the semester that they complete their degree. And that would afford them an opportunity to work for up to 1 year in their field of study to gain employment experience in that field. And so it has been a wonderful opportunity for students, our international students, to not only have an academic experience here at Kapiolani, but also to gain real life experience, industry experience in that field. And that's where what Kiri will be doing for this next year. Yeah. Have you given some thought, Kiri, where you're going to do that?
So I think I will work at for travel agency, and yeah, and also a cafe as a part-time.
You have this, I know as students come into our office, you're always very cordial and easy to talk to. You're very welcoming, always smiling. I know the podcast and then the three Oji-chans over here are a little bit frightening.
Hey, now.
A little bit frightening, but you're always smiling. You're always helping our students. I think you're a perfect fit for that industry as well. And as a representative, what we're excited about too is that you're not only doing OPT, you are alumni and you'll be representing our campus. So we're so excited to know and learn more about your journey as that happens. So you definitely have to keep in touch with us, and maybe we'll get Sheldon and Alfie to do a circle back on this or on your experience as you're going through your OPT or towards the end of your OPT, to kind of share, this pre-OPT thoughts and excitement and the post-OPT experiences. Yeah.
She might be somewhere in the globe. We may not even find her because she's like taking over the planet.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna have to identify every place that's rice-based culture, and then we'll get
rice-based culture. So for undergraduate, what do you want to do? So after OPT, go to UH Manoa. What's your plan?
So I haven't decided exactly what I want to do in my career, but I'm thinking of working for hospitality industry, hotel industry, or either hotel or airline industry.
I'm just I took a lot of notes, and man, if you were to design your resume today, to Shawn's point about having that ideal employer or employee, I should say, employee of taking risks, succeeding, putting yourself in unique situations, making the most of it, communicating, looking at challenges as that, not being discouraged by failing or anything like that, but looking at everything as an opportunity. I mean, even at this stage in your life, I think your resume just screams success.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to talk, no, sorry, go ahead, guys.
Go ahead. No. I think it's so exciting for me to see our students succeed like this, but certainly Kiri. But I was kind of curious, if you could, maybe this is kind of a two-part question, but I'm kind of curious what you would say to your younger self that was first coming here. If you could go back and reflect on that, what kind of word? I'm curious, knowing all the experiences you had at KCC, now you're going to graduate, and you are a part of our international student orientation. So not only have you gone through the orientation yourself, but you facilitate the orientation and you help our international students. So knowing what you know now, and the faculty that you've met, the classes that you've taken, the friendships that you've forged, the challenges that you faced, what would you say to yourself, I'm curious, that you would want to have known when you first came?
Okay.
So Kiri 2021. What would you tell Kiri 2021?
Yes.
I think I would say that you will learn, you're gonna learn, you're gonna experience something that you never experienced before. Because coming to Hawaii, also going to Australia, it was a big decision for me, and I learned so many things. And of course, a lot of like international students, they come here and they live apart from their family, and I think they're really like worried about everything. So, but um they will learn like so many things in Australia that you will never be able to learn in their home country.
So on that note, any words of advice you'd like to give to just all of our students that are out there or those who are listening? Any tips? Kiri's tips of success?
Um, Tips for success.
Tips for success?
I would say just try everything and like say yes to everything, like say yes to more, like to many things. And you have to um just take, if you have like opportunities, just take everything.
You know, I think if I can elaborate because how I interpret that statement too, it makes me think that being involved in study abroad, you know, sending students out from the campus as well, not only hosting international students incoming. One of the things that I notice is that we can have two students, two local kids here from Kapiolani and go to the same destination on the same program in the same country. Now, granted, they have their own unique backgrounds, subcultural backgrounds coming, you know, might be from different ethnicities. They might be from different parts of the island. They might one might be more an extrovert, one might be more an introvert. But generally speaking, if we've got two kids from Hawaii and they go out on a study abroad program and then they come back, I have noticed that sometimes one student they just cannot stop talking about how amazing this experience was. And in my opinion, Kiri falls into that category, you know, because she views not only the opportunities as opportunities. I mean, she views every challenge as an opportunity, not only a positive opportunity to, you know, go with somebody, go to the beach or whatnot, but a challenge as an opportunity, and converts that into a life experience. But, you know, I noticed that some kids that go that are a little bit more reluctant, they question, why am I here? Or I want to be home. Or I'm not, this is not for me. They are attending the same classes, going to the same functions and so forth, and yet they come back and they communicate an entirely different experience, but they went to the same location.
Mindset.
And it's mindset. And so I think what, you know, Kiri is in that statement kind of reminds me of how whether you're an incoming international student to Kapiolani or an outbound student from Hawaii going to an international destination, your experiences are highly contingent on your willingness to try. It doesn't mean you'll be perfect, but I think to your point, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kiri, but that's what I was understanding. Just try, you know, and which includes the application. If you think about it, before Kiri got here, she had to try and apply. She had to try and do all the logistics, purchase your air ticket, figure out your housing, figure out how the banking system works, figure out how to buy books, figure out which faculty and classes and all of those details. But if we kind of move all of that away, it comes down to the willingness to try, you know.
I have to date stamp it because 2021, I think we were probably at the peak of the pandemic.
Yes.
So you talk about try, you talk about pushing through.
Yeah.
I mean, And even in Japan, Kiri, correct me if I'm wrong, like even Japan was at its height of the pandemic, 2021, probably going into 2022. Is that right? Because they were super strict.
Yeah. And at that time, the U.S. was deemed, what do you call that? Stage, like, I guess it was a tier 4 country.
Mm.
So we had the worst of the worst at that time, right? So, and you saw your parents, Kiri. How did that conversation go? They were okay with sending you? What's going on?
Yeah, they're like very positive about me going to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was like in the middle of pandemic. And the first semester I took all online classes, which I didn't expect it at all.
Mm.
So yeah.
Before we close, is there a message you would like to share with your parents right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Go for it. If your parents are in this room, what would you like to tell them? You can say it in English. You can say it in your native language. What would you like to share with them?
I will tell them how appreciate I am for them. Since I made the decision to go to Australia, from that point they were always supportive. They always support me, and they never say negative things. And they just always let me do like everything I want. And and I was planning to transfer to Manoa at first, but I changed my mind. And when I tell them that I want to go to Manoa, they just tell me like just do what you want to do. So I'm just so thankful for them to support me.
Best Christmas gift ever.
Yes. I have one question for Kiri, and it ties into Sheldon's last question. But this is really cool, Kiri, because they're recording this for obvious reasons. So you're going to share this with your family. But I think it's also cool that you talk to yourself in 10 years that will look at this video, looking forward and knowing that, you're on this journey. But you're at some point, you're going to come across this video, and, I'm kind of curious what you would say to your future self as well. Not only looking back, but looking forward, not knowing, maybe you do know where you're going to live or what career you're going to be in. What do you want to say to yourself in 10 years?
That's heavy duty, man.
Well, it just makes, like...
Yeah. It's like a time capsule here, Let me open it up. Ooh.
So this is Kiri 2033, right?
Yeah. 2033. So you would...
What are you... what are you going to tell Kiri version 2033? What are you going to tell her?
That's a difficult question.
Yeah, thanks, Shawn. Thank your agent for that.
I think I would say, so the experiences that I have, that I had, that I will have in Hawaii was something that's gonna be like worthy for the rest of my life. So I want to say that I did great job at KCC, and I promise that I will do better after this, like when I'm doing OPT or at Manoa. Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool.
And to the listeners and the viewers out there, Sheldon and I always try to find students who have like stories. So thank you, Shawn, for telling us, hey, we got this amazing student. And when we met with Kiri, remember Kiri, we're in the conference room, we said, oh, my story's kind of boring.
Not at all.
Not at all. Like we're over here blown away by this whole story, your whole journey, your whole experience. So just thank you so much for taking time to kind of share with us, and share with the world. Remember we're worldwide now. This podcast,
Galaxy-wide.
Galaxy-wide. Per our last podcast, we're Galaxy-wide.
Multiverse. But yes, Kiri, thank you so much, and congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next week, Tuesday. Here
We'll
we
be
go.
there. We'll
Will
be
your parents
there.
be there? Are your parents
My
coming?
mom My
Your mom's coming.
will be there.
Yay! Hopefully I get to meet her. All right, Kiri, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Shawn.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Shawn, thank you. Kiri, again, congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yay, Kiri.